No, you just need to know what's required. And it's really just three things, Scott. Number one, you got to have
real interviews, real guests. No actors, real talk, get prepared for Free Factor.
Hey, what's up? Scott Free DeVore with the Free Factor podcast. I'm here with a special guest, Nate Scott. I love your surname. But man, we're going to talk about you being a veteran, you being an entrepreneur, doing some big things, within the entrepreneurial space here in Jacksonville. I know we kind of crossed some paths. You think you lived in the DC area for a minute. You're born in the Savannah area. I used to live there when I was a kid. But we're going to talk about just all those things and just kind of maybe even touch upon Jacksonville as a whole and kind of the business climate in the city and, just kind of what you're working on and, what your future looks like.
Love it. Looking forward to it. Glad to be here. Great to see you, man.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you kind of responding to a post I put out on LinkedIn. I was just saying, hey, man, I'm in Jacksonville. If there's anybody who's looking to be on my podcast, let me know. And, you responded. So I was very grateful for that. And thank you for coming in and on short notice and, being here with me today.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
So I was looking at your profile and, tell me if I'm wrong. It looks like you were enlisted Army and then you actually then went to West Point.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique. Kind of tell me that story if you don't mind.
Yeah. I started thinking about financial independence as a 10th grader in high school. I was an athlete. When my basketball scholarship fell through coming out of high school, I turned down my academic scholarships and enlisted in the Army. And as soon as I got to my unit, I immediately enrolled in college courses, continued to play sports. And as a result of that activity, one of my professors, her husband was a West Pointer. She knew my company commander, and they approached me about the idea of going to West Point. Now, I had no intention of going. I actually had a disdain for West Point officers just because of what my experiences were. But because they were willing to support the process, even if I didn't believe they would, I did continue to do the process. And so fortunately, I was in a position academically and with my profile as a high schooler to be, to have the criteria. And lo and behold, as I was going through that process, I got a knock on the door from my first sergeant saying that we're going to be deployed to Operation Desert Shield out of Germany. And we deployed, and I found myself in the desert. They kept sending paperwork even while I was there. And then one night on patrol, as I was walking the perimeter during Operation Desert Storm, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. That was the defining moment for me that inevitably led me to say, yes, I'm going to lock into this idea. And so when we did get back to Germany, I got the appointment to the prep school, which was a 10-month program.
Okay.
I looked at that as a great way to get back into the academic frame of mind and to play basketball on the junior college type level, and did well there. And on February 26, 1992 at 10:30 a.m., I wrote out in Benjamin Franklin T, pros and cons, and made a decision to go to the academy.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I definitely want to get into that story more. I've met a few people over the years who also went to West Point and just great people. So I appreciate, I just want to thank you for your service as well. So you're a hooper, you play basketball. That was your sport. Are you familiar with Dennis Scott?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I think I chose my number 4 because of Dennis.
Nice. So he's actually from my hometown. He's actually from Hagerstown. And
Hagerstown.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's, I know you were in the DC area. So I grew up in Hagerstown. Lived in Savannah. I told you before we started airing, I actually went to kindergarten in Savannah. But then when I was going into first grade, my dad is from Western Maryland. So we moved up to his hometown, and I spent the rest of my formative years in Western Maryland. And then I went to a couple colleges in Maryland. I actually played JUCO basketball at Hagerstown Community College, 97. And that's a whole long story how that all turned out. But yeah, Dennis Scott, he was the National Player of the Year from Hagerstown, but then he ended up transferring to a school in Virginia, just outside DC, Oakton, I think.
Oak Hill.
Okay. Yeah. So then he ended up going to Georgia Tech. I think he was the number 4 pick. Orlando, I think, was he Orlando's first pick?
Yeah.
First ever franchise pick. Then he teamed up with Shaq for all those years. But, Dennis would come back to Hagerstown and, go to camps and stuff like that. So as a younger kid, I would see him. So it was pretty cool. Now he's been broadcasting for years on NBA TV. So just to kind of see him, and a lot of people who I'm connected with on Facebook are like related to him. Back in Hagerstown, Maryland, and it's just great to kind of see what he did for the town, and what he still continues to do and gives back. I know his kids are like now going into college and playing ball.
All right, all right. Great evening, great evening, great evening. I want to welcome each one of you here. If you would, drop a text or drop a message in the chat. I'd love to see where you're from. I see Taji. Great to have you on. Glad to have you here today as we're getting ready to jump into the message of the webinar. Delighted to have you guys here. Make sure that everything's in order. All right, here we are. All right. All right. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you here on this evening. This is going to be really personal and intimate. We're going to jump right into the presentation on how to unlock profit, purpose, and confidence in 90 days. Even if you've tried coaching before, felt stuck, or lost trust in programs that don't deliver. Now, Taji, if you wouldn't mind, let me get some interaction just a moment. I'd love to hear, now that you've had an opportunity to have a small conversation with me, what is it that you hope to get out of tonight?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I thought I mentioned it earlier to glean and see if I can be a blessing to other people. I have a strong background in business, entrepreneurship, and education and training. And whatever I could do to be a blessing to you, I will do it. And if I can help in any way, that's what I'm all about. In Jesus' name.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm delighted to have you here. Thank you for that spirit. That's a servant's heart. And I want to open it up with the story of Michael Downing. You see, Michael Downing was an amazing man. He was actually a World War II veteran, and he was asked to go speak in Germany because of his professional success and because there were a group of wounded soldiers there, and they figured that he could go there and truly inspire them. And so Michael made the trip to Germany, and as he walked into the room, he saw soldiers who had been greatly crippled as a result of their service. You see, these soldiers had been shot. There were amputees whose eyes told him that they lost all hope, and he truly empathized with them. Michael was a successful businessman. He actually was the president of a very successful bank. And as he looked at these soldiers, he started his speech by saying this. He said, "I want you to know that anything is possible. I hope that you dream big dreams because you have a bright future ahead of you and a potential to achieve anything you desire." The soldiers weren't in good spirits. They began to boo him. And the booing got so severe that Michael stopped and sat down. He reached down and he removed his prosthetic right leg. Then he removed his prosthetic left leg. Then he removed his right arm and took off his left hand. You see, what the soldiers didn't know was that Michael, when he was 14 years old, he fell off the back of a wagon in a snowstorm. By the time his parents realized he was missing and came back to him, he had severe frostbite requiring the amputation of both legs, his right arm at the shoulder, and his left hand at the wrist. You see, Michael empathized with the soldiers because he knew what they were feeling like and what they were going through. He had lost all hope in his life before. And sitting there, a stump of a man, he started his speech over again by saying this. He said, I want you to know that anything is possible. I hope that you dream big dreams because you have a bright future ahead of you and the potential to achieve anything that you desire. Now, I have to imagine that that was the greatest speech ever given. Michael's message is what I want to begin with, because at the end of the day, I want to leave this with you. And that is, anything is possible. I hope that you dream big dreams because you have a bright future ahead of you and the potential to achieve anything that you desire. And so no matter where you're at and what season of life you're in tonight, I want you to go into it with the expectation that you're going to get extreme value and you're going to get an answer to something that you are sincerely seeking. Life is rich means I live in fullness every day because I realize I'm Christ's heir. It was a birth out of my experience in combat at 19 when I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. And so I want to help to give you some instruction, some guidance tonight on how to break free from debt, confusion, and plateaus. And I want to show you a disciplined framework in which I've developed over time based upon my military background, as well as the experience I've gained as an entrepreneur. The big issue that I address is the fact that 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger. And 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 of retirement. And 47% of people say if they had a $400 emergency, they'd have to sell something or borrow money to address it. And 68% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. But all this is going to be about how to think versus what to think. How to think versus what to think. Today, I'll show you a simple way to stop repeating the same cycles of stress and stagnation. There are going to be things in which you are personally dealing with that, based upon this life is rich system that I have, it's going to enable you to eliminate debt. It's going to allow you to build profitable income streams and do so while being aligned with your God-given purpose. I'll show you how to transform from struggling to pay your bills to building lasting wealth, from unclear, distracted leadership to leading with confidence and purpose, and from feeling alone and unsupported to having mentorship and accountability and a winning community. You see, in transformation, I think it's important for you to have curriculum, community, and coaching. Now, of course, you can do certain things alone, but I promise you, with those three components in place, it greatly increases the likelihood of your success. During this time, I intend to deliver three things for you. Number one, I want to show you a disciplined system for wealth. Number two, I want you to see how leadership shifts unlock business growth. And number three, I want you to walk away with clarity, confidence, and a roadmap to lasting wealth. If you stay until the end, you'll learn the three mindset shifts that permanently change how you make decisions. The exact framework that helped clients pay off $20,000 in debt. You'll know why alignment before assignment. Let me say that again. Alignment before assignment. How that unlocks sustainable success. And how ordinary professionals built sustainable and predictable income in 90 days. And lastly, you're going to get a fast action bonus worth $1,500 for those of you that are ready to actually make a change. Go ahead and type in the chat if you're ready. If you know that you're ready to make a change as we're entering into the fourth quarter of 2025, then please let me hear from you. Drop a ready in the chat. I think it's important that you go into it with the understanding that this system that I'm going to share with you is something that I've employed over a couple of decades, and that there are real people with real results. Now, hear from women who've transformed their lives after working with me.
As I sit here at the airport on the 17th, I am reflecting on the good fortune I had of meeting you 1 year ago today. You have coached my team on luxury branding. We have done podcasts together, radio shows together, women's conferences together. You also introduced me to shopping online, which I used to delegate to everyone else. And I know my health is my wealth. And knowing that I now have a much healthier home and office for my family, my clients, my friends, my business partners, it is just gives me a great deal of confidence. So I just want to say thank you for all you have done for me.
So before we begin, I want to review 4 important agreements. Number 1, I'm going to ask that you remain open so that you can challenge any old limiting beliefs. Number 2, I want you to be engaging. I want you to make sure that you have the ability to take notes, because see, knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. If you play full out and engage, that's going to enable you to actually take away something of substance. It's also going to go prepare you once I ask you for some questions as I continue to move through. Number 3, I want you to stay until the end, because this is designed as a complete process. The time in which you're investing right now is meant to deliver value to you. So I encourage you to make sure you get away from any distractions. Make sure you turn off your notifications. Make sure that you're locked in for this period of time. And then last, understand this training is about your transformation. It's not about my personal story. I'm assuming that you're here as someone that falls into one of these categories. Maybe you're an entrepreneur who feels like that you're capable of more, but you just simply can't break through. Maybe you're a professional who's tired of doing everything right, but still feeling stuck. Maybe you're an executive that's overwhelmed by financial stress and leadership struggles. Or maybe you're a growth-minded person who wants accountability, strategy, and a path to creating lasting wealth. This training is not for everyone. This training is not for you if you want overnight results or a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not for you if you aren't willing to take responsibility for your growth. It's not for you if you aren't teachable, which means willing to learn, or coachable, which means willing to change, and if you refuse to be accountable. It's not for you if you want motivation without a strategy and the requirement that comes with execution. And then lastly, this is not for you if you're satisfied staying stuck in the same current cycle. This is important. I want to make sure that you understand that maybe in the past you've been exposed to things where you found that there were limitations, but I want you to know that you don't have to work 80 hours per week. You don't have to buy into every new coaching fad or program or every new fad. You don't have to rely on willpower alone. You don't have to figure this out all by yourself. And lastly, you don't have to sacrifice your health, your family, or your faith in order to achieve success. My model is very simple. It's rooted in 3 pillars. Number 1, you are the asset. You're the most valuable component. You're the most valuable investment. The time you've invested here tonight is about you getting a return on investment. You are the asset. Number 2, alignment before assignment. And number 3, you're going to learn how to think versus what to think. So my name is Nate Scott. I'm the author of the book, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, which is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. I wrote it specifically to address the cash flow danger that no one is talking about. The fact that 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger, that 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 retirement, that 47% of people say if they had a $400 emergency, they'd have to sell something or borrow money to address it, and 68% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. But it's about how to think versus what to think. Every chapter begins with scripture, but then I say, so what? How do you take God's word and apply it on a daily basis? The backstory to this book is that it was written during a time in which I was in my valley experience. You see, I had already graduated from West Point. I'd already earned my MBA from George Washington and finance training from Georgetown. I'd already climbed the corporate ladder to the C-level suite as a CFO of an Inc. 500 fast-growing company, and I'd already built a multi-million-dollar business. But then when life hit me, life instances such as divorce, the market crash, the closure of our business, when those things happened, I find myself in a valley. And it was through that experience that Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth was birthed. And I'm excited to share with you all tonight because that right there is going to give you the true understanding of how important it is for you to be rooted in the right foundation. Here's a picture of my family. My wife, Andrea, Trey, my son, who's 20, he's in college, and Nadia, who's 21. We just now got back from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic about 2 weeks ago. And this picture represents a lifetime dream of mine. You see, this was the culmination of a decision that I made at Nadia's birth back in 2004, when I said, number one, I would commit to sowing into the lives of women, such if anything happened to me unexpectedly, she'd have role models that I wanted to follow. And number two, I wanted to be the dad that was around. And so as you see them as young children, this was in Jacksonville, Florida, where I moved from the DC metro area because I wanted to get near Savannah, which is home for me, and also get near the water. And so this here is what I really want you guys to be thinking about is, as you look into the future, what do you really want? The question that I normally ask is, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? I want you to start thinking about the end state and then backwards plan so that in turn, you can get clear about where you're at right now. For planning purposes, you can look at the number 81 as a life expectancy of women and 76 for men. I want you to be thinking about taking 10 years off of that, so 71 and 66. And then we're going to be looking at what are we working with so that in turn, we can collapse time frames to create what we want. You see, as I said, life will happen. And when life happened to me, it was in a moment's time. We were just identified as an Inc. 500's fastest growing company for the second time. And 90 days after that recognition, we shut our doors. And I write about this in chapter 3 of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, where I said, December 2007, I was notified that the company that I was working for was one of several that closed its doors due to bankruptcy. That was the last time I had a regular full-time job. For the next 3 years, I was able to survive with very little change in lifestyle, but then things took a turn for the worst. Lest you think my life has been nothing but roses, I will also tell you that not every deal I've done was successful. I've lost more than $250,000 in one deal in 1 year, and I had the only thing I could show for it was a judgment. My total debt was over $4 million, and the creditors were calling as if they had my number on speed dial. I've seen my credit score drop from 720 to 600 in less than 45 days. I've been unemployed or underemployed for more than 3 years. Yes, life happens. So when you find yourself on in uneven ground, you have to accept responsibility, assume a defensive position, and then stabilize while keeping your head up and persevere. You see, in that season of life, it was a low point. There was a time in that season in which I felt embarrassed, ashamed. I was questioning how could I be successful as a businessman, but yet still be broke personally and professionally. My question to you all, as you're thinking, what have you gone through in life that has given you a gut punch? What things have you experienced that came out of the blue that truly rocked your world? And have you found yourself in situations where you've been questioning whether or not things were going to change? If you've been in that situation, I want you to know that anything is possible. I want you to hold on to those dreams and aspirations. But more importantly, I want you to know that the mere fact that you've taken the time to be here tonight means that you still have hope. The word says, now faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Well, hope is an expectation. And tonight, I'm excited that you're expecting to get an answer. I want you to know that you're going to learn how to build stronger because I'm going to share with you a philosophy and a system in discipline, faith, and in strategy. When I struggled to get results, I tied my self-worth to money. I thought that working harder was a solution. And instead, I found myself spiraling in debt, divorce, and near bankruptcy. That's when I realized that success is not about what you have, it's about who you're becoming. It's not about what you do, it's about who you be. It's be, do, have. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. You see, you got to be first because we're human beings, we're not human doings. As a human being, that means that we're creators. So being is first and foremost. When you truly understand and embrace who you are and whose you are and move steady, then you're able to truly find fulfillment. Remember, you are the asset. Does that make sense? Are you guys tracking with me? Am I giving you something? Please go ahead and let me know. Give me something in the chat or some hearts. Let me know that I still have you. You see, the moment that everything changed for me was during that valley experience. That's when I learned about stop chasing success and instead cultivate purpose, discipline, and alignment. I want you to know going into this right now that in spite of what you may have thought or what maybe society has told you, entrepreneurship must be the foundation of any wealth building plan. And here's what I want you to understand entrepreneurship to be. It's simply problem solving. It's simply being resilient. It's simply being persistent. It's simply adjusting according to the terrain. Entrepreneurship is the only sustainable wealth strategy. And when it's aligned with mindset, faith, and disciplined execution, you're unstoppable. You see, I've been blessed to be able to help hundreds of clients escape debt and create financial security. I've been able to guide executives to lead with clarity and confidence and build a global movement of purpose-driven leaders. And I've had the privilege of going through a great story where I've enlisted in the Army when my basketball scholarship fell through because I wanted to continue to play basketball. And then as I graduated from West Point, I went on and served as an infantry officer and ranger. And then from there, I entered into the professional world as a civilian, where I worked as a senior systems analyst for the Missile Defense Agency. And while I was doing that, I engaged in my entrepreneurial endeavors, starting first as a former personal trainer, but then in a 90-day window, acquiring over $1 million in assets in 90 days, with my largest being a 40-unit apartment complex. I went on to own a tax franchise And then I went into the information marketing space. And so I share those things with you, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I lend myself to you in this manner because I'm excited about showing you what the possibilities are, not from a theory standpoint, but to lead you as I've led my soldiers in my service time. It's important to me because I made a vow at 19 when I walked the perimeter during Operation Desert Storm when I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. My purpose is to help others live rich, financially, physically, faith, and in freedom. Real people throughout my life have made an impact on me because they've given me an opportunity to serve beyond the uniform.
Hello, my name is Andrea McGee. I am a multipreneur where I am an empowerment coach to women, as well as the owner and operator of a branding and marketing agency based in Southern California. And I am elated to share my experience with Nate Scott. I met him through his wife, Andrea, and I had the distinct pleasure in hearing just how well his mind works and how he doesn't just go along with things, but he dissects them for truth. And one of the most valuable things that I can say that I learned from him is how to think versus what to think, as well as remembering that I am the asset. Generally, when you start in business the way that I did through a direct sales company, particularly if you amass some success, you are going to pour everything that you have into building another brand. And one of the light bulbs that went off for me when I was able to connect with Nate was that I had been building and giving to something that did not belong to me. And between those two things that he shared with me, among many others, I was able to take a look at where I was in my life, in my finances, and make the decision to build something with the skill set that I was already giving away. And so for that and many other things, including your friendship, Nate, I say thank you. And I am excited about all the lives that you are changing as a result.
Wow. I love looking at the stories that have come across my path where I've had opportunity to delve into other people's dreams and aspirations and just walk beside. And so I want to address a limiting belief, and that is it even possible to achieve financial security when you failed before? Well, I want you to think about it. If you're parents out there, or if you're someone that maybe rode a bicycle before, then you know about that first step and how initially, more than likely, you stumbled or you fell. Well, in that instance, the natural inclination at that season of life is to get back up. Now, oftentimes when that's happening, you probably had someone that was there to guide you and to help you to actually lend their confidence because they knew that it was possible. Well, that's the same thing with all things. It's just a matter of getting into position, being willing to take the step, and know it's not something that you have to do alone. The truth is 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Debt is at an all-time high, and most coaching programs give what to think versus how to think. But transformation is possible, but only when you change your mindset and apply a proven system. The system in which I'm speaking of was something that was rooted in the way that I trained my soldiers going into battle, knowing if I got killed on the battlefield, the mission still has to take place. And so no matter what the situation is, all I want you to do is simply have a pause button and think and then move. Have you ever tried seminars that are hyped you up but didn't give you structure? Have you had budgeting apps or any type of technology that tracked your spending but didn't actually change your habits? Have you been a part of masterminds or coaching programs where no one actually held you accountable? Have any of you experienced any of those things? If so, let me know. Let me know where you're at. Let me know if I'm working with anybody here that has made the investments in something that in fact didn't deliver what you were expecting. If those things were enough, why were you still stressed about money, unsure about your next step, or wondering if you'll ever really make it? You see, I've been a part of programs where I've been in the room and I've seen people struggling, although there was tons of information. Information doesn't change. See, knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, and then wisdom is applied knowledge. The reason why you stressed about the money, because maybe there was not an evaluation based upon a return on investment and what was going to be required in order to get that return. Or maybe you're unsure about the next step because, in fact, there was not a real plan to walk you through to an end state because it didn't begin with the end in mind. Or lastly, you may have wondered if you could ever really make it happen because you were not being guided by someone that been there, done that. In the past, it may not have worked because they gave you information but not transformation. Maybe they focus on tactics but not disciplined habits. Or third, they may have lacked accountability, so you slip back into your old cycles. Hard work without alignment leads to burnout, not success. 50% of businesses fail within 5 years. Only 1 in 3 Americans feel financially confident. But here's the thing. When you have the right system, you save yourself time, energy, and money, and you beat the odds. So let me ask you a question. Do you agree that working harder at the wrong things can't create freedom? Have you heard about work hard? And as a result of working hard, then everything will be okay? Have you ever heard that before? Well, let me ask you, how many people in your life have you come across that you know personally that are hard workers? How many of those hard workers are free from worry? They've achieved the level of success. I rest my case. Working hard doesn't work, not alone. You've probably already tried a bunch of things, such as long hours. You may have asked for overtime in work. You maybe tried generic coaching programs that overpromised and underdelivered. And maybe, just maybe, you've tried real estate or multi-level marketing or anything that side hustles that drained your energy but did not add to security. Today, I'm going to share with you my new system and give you the 3 biggest secrets to unlock profit, purpose, and confidence in 90 days. Secret number 1, you are the asset. Number 2, alignment before assignment. And 3, how to think versus what to think. You see, success doesn't start with money or opportunity. It starts with you, your mindset, your habits, your resilience. You are the asset. Until you see yourself as the asset, wealth will always slip through your fingers. The Life is Rich system and the message that life is rich is foundationally built as a result of my experience in combat at 19, where I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. Now, my message is not one that's beating people's head with the Bible. It's not even based upon your particular ideology. It's just simply telling you that my belief system is rooted in a higher power. But if you do happen to align with that belief, then I want you to know that you are an heir. And as an heir, that means your father has it all. And if your father has it all, that means it's already set aside. So the only thing you've got to do is continue to grow your capacity. And tonight is a step in that direction. You see, most people think that money, opportunity, or connections are the asset. Well, the truth is you are the asset. It's not the skill, it's not the knowledge, it's the attitude that you need to go into things with. And that, my friends, that's the thing that's going to allow you to distinguish yourself from others
and allow you to navigate all circumstances that you're faced with. Your habits, decisions, and mindset are what shape your wealth. The proof is that over 80% of lottery winners lose their fortune within 5 years. Why? Because without new habits, new identity, money slips away. The aha moment is when you invest in developing yourself, invest time, invest money, then wealth follows because money follows value. When you neglect yourself, no amount of income will make you free. Let those words sink in. The fact is discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation fades, discipline lasts, and discipline is what creates wealth. So to recap, you don't need more apps, you don't need more books, you don't need more resources. What you need is the understanding of those things and then the application. You need to treat yourself as the most valuable investment, and you don't go at it alone. Secret number 2, alignment before assignment. Alignment before assignment. You see, most people chase opportunity without knowing who they are. The result is burnout, wasted money, and then constant confusion. Let me ask you, are you here because you've tried a side hustle that didn't stick? Maybe you've taken on jobs that drained your energy. Or maybe you brought into programs that didn't match your values. When you know what you value, decisions are easy. The truth is, when you align with who you are and what you do, then everything changes. When you don't, no amount of hustle or hard work will work. 70% of workers admit that they feel alignment fixes this. Have you been in a situation like that where you've just felt that you've been misaligned, that something in your gut just told you that something wasn't right? Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was employment, a certain job. Maybe it was just a room in which you walked in. Just know that intuition, that gut is speaking to you because you are misaligned. You see, one of my clients, she stopped chasing every business idea. When we aligned her actions with her true goals, the result was she was able to 3x in 1 year her revenue and do so without burnout. Here's what the flow is. We go from clarity, that then gives you confidence, and then you operate with consistency, and that's when you get to cash flow. The message is consistently sharing a clear message with conviction leads to confidence in yourself and in others. Consistently sharing a clear message with conviction leads to confidence in yourself and in others, and the message is you. When you're aligned, then it's easy to recognize what your assignment truly is, and then the results follow naturally. So as a recap, alignment saves you years of wasted time and money, but without alignment, even the best strategy won't last. The third secret, learning how to think versus what to think. You see, knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. Information is everywhere. We're on information overload. But transformation only happens when you change how you think. Have you ever bought books or courses or seminars, but nothing actually stuck? How many of you have done that? How many of you have actually made investments in resources like that, but they didn't stick, or that you never even opened up again? Have you ever gained knowledge but couldn't apply it? Have you ever kept falling back into your old habits? You see, I want you to know that you're not alone in this. This is a cycle that most people go through. When you only learn what to think, then that means you're dependent upon others. When I spoke to you about my experience in combat and knowing that if I taken my soldiers into combat, if I got killed on the battlefield, The mission still has to take place. Well, that's the same thing when raising children. I have Nadia's 21 and Trey's 20. My effort has always been in developing them so that when I'm gone, they can still function. Well, that's the same approach I take in developing people who are partnered with in their success. Instead of you being reliant on me and being dependent, I do everything I can do to ensure that you truly get it so that you can function independent of me, but that you stay with me because you value what it is I provide, because you know I'm going to continuously be learning. When you learn how to think, you become unstoppable. The proof is that the average person consumes 34 gigabytes of information each and every day, yet most remain stuck. Why? Because knowledge without application is useless. One of my clients, after years of coaching programs, she came to me knowing that everything she had applied or attempted in the past was never being applied. After learning how to think, she finally launched her business and it began to thrive. Application beats information all day, any day. Wisdom is applied knowledge. Y'all tracking? Does that make sense? So as a recap, stop asking, what should I do next? Instead, start asking, how should I think about this situation and who can help me achieve this? If you just employ that in your life by asking the right question, you'll get the right answer. So once again, ask, how should I think about this situation? And then, who can help me to achieve this? That's what creates lasting transformation. So the 3 secrets. Number 1, you are the asset. Number 2, alignment before assignment. And number 3, learn how to think versus what to think. We had one that went from 20,000 in debt to debt-free and confident. Another transformation from plateaued in business to 3x revenue growth. And then third, from overwhelmed and scattered to clear, aligned, and leading with purpose. Which one of these resonate with you and where you're at in your journey? The only thing left now to do is to decide how you'll move forward. Where do we go from here? You can either do nothing and stay where you are. That's an option. Or you can continue to try to figure it out on your own. Or you can leverage a proven system and mentorship to help you to get to a different outcome. The question is, which path will you choose? You've already experienced what you've experienced. And in Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, I speak about your best thinking has gotten you where you are. If you could have done it differently, you would have, but you didn't, so you couldn't. Think about that. If your best thinking got you to where you are right now, would it be helpful for you to have some different thoughts, to have someone watch you swing, and to correct your swing so that you can produce better results in your life? Are there some areas of your life that you know need to change, but you just haven't done it? You see, change is easy. You don't have to do anything. Just sit back and change will happen. Change is automatic. Growth is not. Do you have a growth plan for your life? Growth is not an automatic process. You must have a plan. Where you are in your life today is a direct reflection of your standards. The quality of your life is nothing more than the quality of your standards. And I believe that you can change your life. You simply need to change your standards. So I want to slow it down, take a pause, and just find out from you, was this valuable to you so far? Let me know where you stand at so far as we are coming to an end. Where are we doing? Because I'm going to open it up. I want to find out where you're at. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, Steve. And so I'm going to do right now, I'm going to come off because I want to get permission from you to share information about my program, but I only want to do that if you're at a place right now where you feel good about what you've gotten, so that if you decide to leave right now, you can walk away knowing that you've got some value. Because if it's okay, I'd like to show you how to go deeper with the most impactful program that I've actually ever created. And so coming back on, feel free to come off of mute. I'd like to know thus far, what have you gotten of value? Steve, if you don't mind, come off of mute, and I'll go around and just want to hear your voice. What did you guys get of value so far?
Just makes you think differently, try to think differently. As you know, we've talked about this a few times, and I seem to just regress back into my old ways.
Got it. Well, anything specific that really struck a chord with you?
The growth with a plan, you know, that I keep thinking I have a pretty good plan. You know, this traveling that I've been doing back and forth to the Northeast has just really put a thorn in my side. I can't seem to concentrate because I'm just worried about getting up here when I can and make as much money in as short amount of time as I can, so I can get back and try to work on the real estate and be with my kids.
Got it.
Well, yeah, I just go into survival mode, I guess, is really the basis of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. How about anyone else? Dia, would you mind sharing with me and tell me where you're located? Glad that you were able to make it. Where are you located? And you're on mute. All right. Maybe where you find it. How about Lydia? Are you able to come off mute? And likewise, tell me where you're from and what have you gotten of value so far?
Yes, my son serves in the Air Force, and I am from Massachusetts, and I want to grow my portfolio. So, this meeting was very important. You spoke about discipline, and that's an area that definitely I can focus and improve.
Thank you. I appreciate it, dear. And thank your son for his service.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Taja, really enjoy speaking to you today. How about you? You're here, and how has this landed for you, my dear?
Well, I was trying to go back to I called what you were speaking on. I said I would call it the 4 C's, and if you can go back on that, what you talked about, my dog's outside barking. But if you could speak about those 4 C's briefly, I think everybody is on the line would agree with it. That those are very interesting things and things that we really need to consider and continue to work with if we're not already there. Mhm.
Thank
I'm a
you.
trainer and a teacher, and I thought it was excellent. Look back on what were you saying about it? You had 1, 2, and 3, but it was actually 4 C's. I heard you say.
Yes, ma'am. We're talking about the flow. We're talking about clarity,
Yeah, good,
confidence,
good,
consistency,
good.
cash flow.
There it is. Those 4 right there. I said if everybody, because I was looking for my pen and paper to write it down, but I said the 4 C's. Every time I hear something like that, my mind tells me, okay, the 4 C's. I put things in order in my head so that if I repeat it, it'll be a blessing to somebody. If somebody's writing down clarity, confidence, consistency, and cash flow. Thank you, Miss Lydia. Your
There
hand
you go.
right. That's it. That was excellent. And I think that should be something you could write a book on.
Thank you, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. That framework is powerful. And the thing I said to anchor that, I'll repeat it for you if you guys want to write it down. I said, consistently sharing a clear message. That's where clarity comes in. And your message is how you live. You're the walking billboard. Remember, I said you're the asset. You're the brand. Everything about you precedes everything else. So consistently sharing a clear message, verbally or just the way you show up. Consistently sharing a clear message with conviction meaning owning who you are, owning what you say, leads to confidence in yourself first and foremost, but also in confidence in others. They become confident in what they're experiencing. Consistently sharing a clear message with conviction leads to confidence in yourself and in others. And that in turn, that trust is developed, which is anchored by the value that you provide, leads to cash flow. All right. So that's the explanation behind it. So thank you for bringing that up, Taji.
Yeah, excellent. And let's add the 5 C's. Conviction is the other one.
There we go.
Clarity, confidence, consistency, confidence, uh, conviction, and cash flow.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for that assist.
Mhm.
All right. Lydia, thank you for the typing. Are you able to come off and let me hear your voice and tell me where you're located? All right.
I just
All right.
gave an update. Yeah, I was the one who just gave an.
Oh, Lydia, I was saying Dia, my fault. Thank you. Dia was the one. I thank you for participating. Lydia, all right, appreciate it. Dia,
Hey, how you guys doing? How's
well,
everybody doing?
great.
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, great.
And thank you for having this. I was moving around, I just got off work, so I was like in and out. But thank you for having this. It was like really, really an eye opener.
Excellent. Well, thank you for showing up for yourself. That's what this is about here. This is about you guys are showing up for yourself. This is opportunity to maybe get some answers, but more importantly, the reason I'm doing this is because it's a lead in to my desire to offer you an opportunity to be a part of a program and to have me walk beside you. I'm going to go ahead and go into telling you what that looks like. But before I do so, I'm going to read once again from chapter 13 of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, where I say, look at any professional athlete, and standing beside him or her is a coach who can watch the athlete perform. Even Tiger Woods, often considered the greatest golfer in the world, has a full-time coach for only one reason. He can't see himself swing. He can't see what needs to be corrected when something goes wrong. Furthermore, he doesn't know what to do to make himself better. His coach is there to watch his form as he swings and to help correct and guide him to his full potential in the fastest amount of time and to help him achieve the excellence he desires. There's no trial and error, no guessing on what to do differently. The coach sees the problem and corrects it. I want you to think about that last statement and think about who in your life is watching you swing. Who is your coach or your mentor? More importantly, is the person qualified to guide you where you want to go? Has the person been there and done that? My experience is that most people don't have someone to guide them and who will tell them the truth. The reason is because telling the truth can be risky. People tend to get their feelings hurt. Everyone is busy protecting their relationship, and the reality is that the relationship is often superficial or fake to begin with. My mask being in relationship with your mask. It just doesn't work very well. The problem with this scenario is this: you can't change a lie. You can't change what you aren't aware of or conscious of, and most of us are unaware of what we're doing or thinking that is producing the results in our lives. What do you guys think about that? What resonates or what pops out at you as a result of that reading?
Well, I would say that in a multitude of counselors, there is safety. You have to have the right people who can coach you, encourage you, mentor you, walk you through, and inspire you. And I believe that if you would do that and seek the Lord, number one, He would tell you who is the best for you as opposed to just talking to anyone. Make sure that they are competent and learned. And again, the 5 C's, that they have it in order to give you that same advice.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you weighing in on that. Anyone else? All right. So I want to introduce you to the Life is Rich global system. Let me make sure that you guys can see my screen. Okay, great. And so the invitation that I'm going to leave you all with tonight is not the full program, because those details, this is a qualifying thing, but it's really two things that I offer. Number one, I offer a 90-day intensive that is all about really working with you to bring about that transformation and to get you into the movement phase and the habit phase. The details of those things, I'll go with you if you make the decision to take the first step so you can get the client needs assessment. Because my thing is working with the people who are clear about their belief in themselves and what is possible with us working together. And so the first step that I invite you to take is to get the client needs assessment. I believe that a prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. A prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. And so when you look at this here, I'm going to play this short video for you first.
Nate, I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your coaching specifically. So let's say somebody's listening right now and they are a business owner, they're thinking about going into business, or they just want somebody to, a life coach, somebody that can give them a different perspective. How would somebody go about contacting you? And is there some offer that you have that they could take advantage of to learn a little bit more about you?
Absolutely, absolutely. The first thing is that coaching is something that I'll say is for the person that you're listening and you know that you have the capacity and the potential to do more than you've done thus far in your life. You actually know that there's another level, and because you know that, you want to take that next step. You try some other things, but you realize the importance of accountability, that it'd be a good thing to have someone that can hold you accountable to the goals in which you set. And you want someone that has perspective, that can actually listen to you, reflect back to you, and provide some insights that maybe you don't have. When people hire me, what they're hiring is someone that, again, that has shown throughout his life in various areas, decision-making and leadership. If you're someone that values a sounding board and having that perspective, then you're the right person. And I invite you to go to www.lifeisrich.com and get the free download that I have for you. Now, I really specialize in working with professionals and moving them from disruption to freedom so that they can live in fullness every day. Life happens to all of us. I've had the disruption of the career change from the military to the civilian. I've had a disruption of divorce. No one prepares for that. No one plans for that. Nobody wants for that, but it happens. How do you navigate that? I've had a disruption of a market crash. I've had a disruption of as an entrepreneur, of having a business close. Well, through all those things, the question is, how do you bounce back? It's really a reflection of character. And so my desire is to just stand in the gap with those of you that have had some punches in life and you need to get your balance and you want to really re-engage. But for those of you that are really, really you're in that next phase of life and you've already retired, well, I know that there's more in life for you right now. And if you felt that way, then I'd love to have the conversation with you so that we can in turn map out this next phase of life. What else do you want to do in order to make an impact?
Absolutely.
So again, that's all I have, but lifeisrich.natescott.com is a free download and it's a great introduction.
Well, thank you, Nate, so much. Love that you agreed to come on the show with us this weekend. And, like I said, from time to time, we love to have special guests on to talk about not just living, but thriving, and especially if you're looking to start a business. Maybe you are already retired or looking to retire and you're ready to start a business, or you are working right now, you are in a job that you like, but you're trying to transition into something that you love. And I also like what you say in your book that when you when you find something that you just absolutely love to do and you turn that into your business, it's so gratifying to get paid for something that you love to do. And what's even more important is when you have rough days, because there will be rough days, you won't just give up on it because you love it so much, and it carries you through. And that's certainly the way I feel about the work that I do here at Chapelwood Financial. I know Victoria does as well, and I know that's the way you feel.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
well, thanks again for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it, and hope to have you back again.
Thank you, Damon. I appreciate it. All right, Lydia, I see your hand up. You have a question? Lydia, do you have a question?
That was a mistake. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No problem, no problem. So, dear friend, if you're reading this, it means you're ready for something more clarity, more wealth, more purpose, and a breakthrough that finally leads to the life you deserve. But here's the truth. Most people never reach their full potential because they try or do it alone, or jump from one generic program to another with no personalized plan that fits their unique goals and challenges. That's why before I accept any new client, I insist on a comprehensive client needs assessment, a focused deep dive into your personal and business situation so I can honestly tell you if I'm the right person to guide you and how. Why $1,000 assessment is different? This isn't a sales pitch disguised as a call. This is an investment in clarity and strategy, a 90-minute intensive session or two 45-minute sessions, if you prefer, where I actually work with you to evaluate your current financial, health, and leadership landscape, identify what's holding you back from success you deserve, co-create a step-by-step personalized plan tailored to your goals, equip you with unprecedented insight and actionable clarity. And the best part, you get all of this in a transparent, results-driven format where you walk away with either a solid understanding of your next best moves or the confidence to seek another solution knowing you gave this your best shot. The Life is Rich Global Client Needs Assessment. The reason why I acquired my assessment for new clients, it's simple. I want to ensure you get the results that you expect. If I can't help you transform as you define it, I don't want to waste your time or money. This assessment helps both of us. You understand your unique opportunities, I understand your needs, and together we decide if partnering is the right next step. What exactly do you receive? An in-depth evaluation of your personal life and business goals. No cookie cutter advice, just focused on you. Receive a customized written plan delivered as a video recording and meeting summary that you can refer to anytime. Clear next steps that align precisely with your vision of success. And lastly, a risk-free experience thanks to my money-back guarantee. Full refund if you're not satisfied within 30 minutes, 50% refund by 60 minutes. This assessment is perfect for you if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels financially, you want to build a business or income stream that aligns with your faith, health, and lifestyle, you're serious about creating leadership legacy and not just chasing short-term wins, and you want a coach who listens to you and builds a plan that's practical and faith-driven. To schedule, you'll have 90 minutes or split 45 minutes for 2 sessions. It's fully remote and recorded for your review. It's $1,000 fee that reflects the value and deep insights you'll receive, and a 30-minute full refund or 60-minute half refund guarantee. Past clients have said that this assessment was exactly what I needed. It opened my eyes to areas I never considered and gave me a clear roadmap to proceed. Highly recommend if you want real transformation. I'm almost didn't book because of the price, but this is worth every dollar. The clarity and plan I got have already saved me thousands.
Hey, my name's Abraham Ojeda, and I just got off of a call with Nate Scott, and he just provided a tremendous value during this consultation that I did. And honestly, I would have paid hundreds for this information because it's very relevant, and it came at a time in my life where I really needed this kind of clarity. Just one thing that I really liked is just Nate's emphasis on how to think, okay? Not what to think. He doesn't tell you what to do. He helps you walk through the process of figuring your own self out, which is huge. If I swear, if every teacher, mentor, everyone that's ever tried to teach me something in my life was like this, and just did this one thing, it would just sped my learning curve in so many ways, faster. So Nate just completely broke down some concepts that I was able to internalize really quickly, which is really nice. And he just basically reinforced that whole idea that I'm the asset, that my name, my character online, because I'm an online marketer, it's what I do, is very important, and not to, basically to give people lots of value and be real and be authentic. Authenticity is the name of the game. And there's just so much other stuff, like translate what people do, what I'm doing offline to what I'm doing online, and there's just so many little things, that nuggets of truth that I'm going to take with me for a long time to come. And I can't say that about a lot of conversations I've had over the phone. I mean, you know what I mean? How many conversations you've had that you can say, I'm going to take those nuggets of truth with me for a long time. I mean, it was really valuable. And, I mean, I'm a real person. It's a real experience. Definitely look forward to just leaning on Nate more in the future, learning more, and continuing to figure out some kinks in my business model and what I'm doing. And I know with his experiences, what he's been through, I can tell he's a man of wisdom, and I highly recommend working with him and just gleaning some of that just wisdom and knowledge from him. I think it'll really benefit you in the way that it's benefited me. So
I paid $7,000 for a program that I thought would do exactly that: talk to me, guide me, help correct my thinking, and it wasn't. It was clearly, do this, do that, we'll talk to you next week. Nate is so different. He is an encourager. He is an encourager of helping us to think and to learn and to be able to follow instructions, and good ones and honorable ones. And I'm super excited to work with him. He spent hours helping me, and I am so grateful for what he is doing and helping other people. He is so wise and so good at what he does, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to work with him. I can't say enough, and I'm so grateful for you, Nate. Thank you so much.
All right, and so I want to pause right now to see what questions you may have, just from the overlay of what the program or what the invitation is for you. Anyone have any questions? All right. Well, one thing I want to walk you through is about this immediate value piece. One of the things I want to give you walking away from tonight, and put you in a situation where, if you're not already in this position, you can start to plan as you're in the last quarter of the year. And that is recognizing that there's only two ways to increase cash flow: either increase your income or decrease your expenses. Well, the two biggest expenses that people pay are taxes and ignorance. Taxes and ignorance. And I help to reduce both. Life is Rich: How to Create Lasting Wealth. The book is about helping you to decrease the ignorance. But in chapter 9 of Life is Rich: How to Create Lasting Wealth, that speaks to tax reductions. That helps you to reduce that. My number one recommendation is that entrepreneurship must be the foundation of any wealth building plan. And that's because there are two different tax systems. And as we go into this last quarter of the year, I want to have you to consider investing in yourself and then allow me to show you how to cause that investment in yourself to be 100% tax deductible. And so here's some instruction that in and of itself, if you don't do anything else, this one thing will cause you to be in a better situation financially.
Entrepreneurship must be the foundation of any wealth building plan. It's not about net worth, it's about cash flow. The most profitable skill is speaking. The most profitable profession is sales. The most profitable knowledge is financial. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't know what to do. I can't do that, or I can't afford it. I'm like, no, you just need to know what's required. And it's really just three things, Scott.
Hi, my name is Nate Scott. I'm the author of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, a principle-centered, biblically-based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship, specifically addressing the fact that 77 million baby boomers are retiring based on cash flow danger. That 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 retirement. That 47% of people say if they had a $400 emergency, they would have to sell something or borrow money to address it. And 68% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. It's about how to think versus what to think. The chapters include Leadership is the Answer, The Cash Flow Danger, It Happened to Me, Becoming an Entrepreneur, Choosing the Right Entity, Raising Capital, Asset Protection, Protecting Your Financial Privacy, Reducing Your Taxes, Retirement Planning, Residual Income Retirement Planning, Estate Planning, and Life is Rich. Today I'm going to share with you the two tax systems in our country. Now some of you may be thinking there's one tax system that was created for the rich and one that was created for the poor. Well, that's not the way it works. There's a tax system that was created for the employee, and then there's a tax system that was created for business owners. First, I want to share with you the tax system that was created for business owners. That tax system was created to provide wealth for you. And here's why. Business owners get more opportunities for tax deductions, and these deductions allow them to keep more of their money so that they can reinvest it and grow their business. So basically, it creates cash that you never have to pay back again by being a business owner. The reason why is because Congress and the IRS benefit from us being successful as business owners. So as we continue to generate more economy, we're continuing to spend money on our business. The hopes is that we will create the jobs, which will in turn create employees, which is the second tax system. You see, someone has to pay taxes, and what happens is it trickles down to the employees. I want you to understand this. Small businesses create over 70% of the job growth in the United States. It's not Apple. It's not Amazon. Small to medium-sized business owners are creating these jobs, and we get massive tax advantages in order to do so. It's very simple to understand why Congress allows it. It is because we're constantly creating those jobs. Apple didn't start off having 50,000 employees. They started off in their garage. Amazon started off in their garage, and they built up a business. And so if they had not gotten the massive tax advantage that you're allowed to have by being a business owner, there would be no point in being a business owner, because we would end up paying all of our money for cost of goods sold, payroll, and then it all goes to tax. So the second tax system was created to take your wealth away, because someone has to pay tax. Business owners create the economy, create jobs, and then they hire W-2 employees. And employees pay the biggest lion's share of the taxes. At some point, you need to understand that you should be doing everything in your power to keep more of your tax dollars as a business owner. To be clear, I'm not telling you to quit your job. What I'm saying is, as a W-2 employee, you don't get the advantages of being a business owner. You have something called living expenses, which are things like cell phone, internet, products, vehicles, meals, medical bills, medical insurance, charitable contributions, mortgage interest. You have all these things that you are currently spending money on. But when you're just an employee, you can't take advantages of those expenses. When you become a W-2 employee with a home-based business, or a W-2 employee with a business, or you decide to step out and take a leap of faith and just become a business owner, it's the same thing. Same tax code, same tax laws apply. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm saying that with a home-based business, you enter into the second tax system. You can now take advantage of these living expenses, and they get redirected into something called business expense. Business expenses are 100% tax deductible against any of your income, whether that be your W-2 income, business income, interest income, or rental property income. It can be taken against any of that income. So the goal is to build your business up, and along the way, you get access to these deductions that are going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars over time. So here's why I feel obligated to share this information with you. The average household in America makes $60,000 a year. So a family of 4 earning $60,000 a year is going to pay taxes on average of $14,000. When you add up FICA, federal, and state taxes after that, what's left over is called take-home pay. And the take-home pay is $46,000. From there, there's a cost of living. So everyone who lives in America, there's a cost of living that you have to pay for your rent, your utilities or mortgage, and your expenses such as rent or light bill. But the average cost of living in America is $53,000 a year. And if you live in a bigger city like Atlanta, it's $73,000 a year. So what happens is that the average house on America, the average household, when you take $46,000 take home from $53,000, you're left over with nothing. You're actually going in debt, $7,000 a year to work 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year to take 2 weeks paid vacation. And that's why we have such massive student loan debt and massive credit card debt. Taxes are keeping your pockets empty, and you may not even be conscious of it. In fact, do you know how much you're currently paying in taxes? Well, most people don't, but here's how you can get an idea. Think about your household budget. What are your biggest expenses when you sit down at your kitchen table to pay your bills every month? For most people, the biggest expenses are their housing costs, food, transportation, and healthcare. Each one of those is a large expense. When you add them together, it makes up the vast majority of most people's budget. But guess what? Taxes are costing you more than your housing, plus your food, plus transportation, plus your healthcare. All combined, taxes are costing you a fortune. In fact, by far the biggest expense for your household is actually taxes. That's why your pockets may always seem to be empty. The good news is that you can do something about that, though. The biggest of all tax breaks in America belongs to those of us who run a home-based business. Why is that? Because the more home-based businesses in America, the more stable our economy. So to encourage the growth of home-based businesses, Congress has approved some huge tax deductions specifically and only for home-based business owners. How much can you save in taxes? Well, for the average employed American taxpayer, home-based business tax deductions alone, in most cases, can slash your taxes by 30%, 40%, or even 50%. Yes, home business tax deductions alone can sometimes slash your total income tax bill in half. Congress made it easy to qualify for these tax breaks. Congress said any taxpayer who runs a legitimate home-based business, either on a part-time or full-time basis, needs to meet only 2 requirements. The first requirement is to run your business on a regular and consistent basis. As little as 3 to 4 hours a week will qualify you. The second requirement is even easier. You must have an intent to make a profit. You don't even have to make a profit in order to qualify for the tax breaks. So you just do those 2 things. And what happens when you meet those 2 requirements? Just about any average taxpayer can qualify to put $4,000 to $7,000 extra cash in their pocket per year beginning this year. And where does that money come from? It comes in the form of new additional tax refunds. And the best news is you do not have to wait till April 15th to collect those new additional refunds. You can collect a portion of that new additional refund every month beginning this month. And the average increase in take-home pay is about $300 to $500 a month just in tax savings. That's $300 to $500 extra cash in your pocket every single month, but only if you have a home-based business. Every taxpayer without a home-based business loses out on all these additional tax deductions, period. And that's the money just in tax savings alone. That's $300 to $500 a month, does not even count the money you'll be making in the home-based business itself. That's an additional income. In fact, $300 to $500 in new money each month is more than enough to pay for all the costs of running your home-based business. So what does that mean? It means that the money you earn in the home-based business itself is all pure profit. How's that? Because Uncle Sam will have already paid for your business operating costs for you. Until now, nobody's ever told you specifics about the huge tax breaks available only to home-based business owners. Until now, that hidden information has been costing you at least $4,000 per year, every year in overpaid taxes. In fact, right now, not knowing about the home business tax breaks or not having a home-based business at all is costing you at least $5,000 this year. It's costing you at least $500 this month. It's costing you over $100 this week. And it's already costing you an extra $20 today. When you partner with us, I promise to share the tax strategy course, which will show you exactly what new tax breaks you can qualify for, exactly how to qualify for each one of them, exactly how to collect part of your refunds every month, and exactly how to keep bulletproof records in less than 2 minutes a day. That's our promise to you. So our guarantee is that you will learn all of that and learn it quickly and learn it from my tax strategies when you choose to partner with us. Now you know the secret to getting Uncle Sam to actually pay you to run your own home-based business. Home-based business tax deductions do not apply to anyone without a home-based business. So it's my job in order to educate you and help you understand that just by doing something called daily business building activities, having a home-based business, and spending 3 to 5 days a week, 45 minutes a day, building a business for yourself, you have access to write off business expenses like your cell phone, your meals, your mileage, your internet, business use of your home, and you can hire your kids. All of these deductions are now in place for you to take advantage of. I'm going to share that information with you along the way and teach you what those deductions are and what you can take. So my recommendation is that you find a product or service that you're passionate about, open your mouth and share that with people from your heart so that you can take advantage of $4,000 a year in tax savings by being in the second tax system that was created to provide you wealth. That is the business owner tax system. So the next step is to launch your own home-based business.
If yes, then call the person back who shared this video with you. Schedule time to see a complete presentation, get your questions answered, ask for the income statistics, and make a decision. And if you want an option that can give you the money, health, purpose, and time freedom you desire within 2 years instead of 15 years, then call me. Let's make it happen. Text INCOME to 904-544-7424.
All right. And so how was that for you guys? Was that valuable? Did you gain some insights? Let me hear from you. What did you get of value from that, or that stuff that you already knew and you're employing?
I'm always looking for a tax break, pal. You know, I don't think, honestly, my accountant up here in Maine has done a great job of being able to get me deductions. And now that I'm running the business out of the house in Florida, at least I can get that deduction now.
Did you understand what makes something be a business?
Well, I hope so.
Okay. I know you're in real estate, and that's one of the areas in which I spoke a little bit about it, is that most people that are in real estate investing aren't actually running a business and they're not clear about what those things are. So just be mindful of me sharing that, and at least it's something for you to delve more into. So thank you. Anyone else? Lydia, how was that for you? Did you get anything of value from that?
Yes, it mentioned that kind of the business already pays the taxes, and I kind of understood that concept. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And I know Raji, I don't know if she's still on, but she's a successful entrepreneur, and we spoke earlier today. So that right there, I just want to give you guys that, because this is something that can be employed right now that can be used to keep more of your money, because even in the research of a business, which I get you started so that you can start to employ this thing, that ends up being something that you can take advantage of. So with that said, as we continue on, so the coaching system is, it's pretty elaborate, but I said all that stuff will be uncovered once you make the decision to get your client needs assessment, which is very important because that allows me to really know specifically where you're at. There are additional testimonials that you can come back, and I'll drop you that link for you to look at. So whether or not you're someone that is in a situation where you've got debt, you got some testimonials from people that have gotten out of debt. If you want accountability, you got a person that owned a McDonald's franchise. Let me let you hear one.
How you doing? This is Ken Brown here. And after 25 years in business, I figured out to listen to this. Success is not accidental. Success is absolutely habitual. And thinking about that, I remember when I was retiring from my McDonald's franchises and I was creating a new business, and my good friend Nate Scott had started this thing called the Daily Habit Call. Listen to me. It was a daily habit call. And he's called me up and said, Ken, I want you to get on this call, connect with me, lock arms with me. And so I did. We would get up in the morning at 5 a.m. in the morning. Listen to me. 5 a.m. in the morning for 365 days. I'm telling you that the level of commitment that I've seen, the level of dedication that I've seen with Nate Scott, is unprecedented. He's a man of commitment, a man of integrity, and let me tell you something. I don't think he even know this. That guess what? That I was going through transitioning my business, and guess what? The fact that I was on that daily habit call for 1 year with Nate, he don't know it, but it helped me explode my new business. So Nate Scott, I want to thank you, brother. And if you are looking for someone to hold you accountable, get with Nate Scott. Thanks a lot.
All right, so your next step is simple. If you're serious about breaking free from frustration and moving toward financial and health and leadership freedom, I invite you to take this bold first step. Click the button to secure your $1,000 client needs assessment, and then make sure you book your 90-minute or 2 45-minute sessions. Remember, your investment is protected by my rock solid guarantee. If within the first 30 minutes you don't see the value, you'll get your money back 100%. And so to that end, I want to see if there are any questions. And otherwise, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you to be able to take advantage of that. And then, as well as for those of you that do get started, I've got a free bonus item that I'm going to share with you as a result of you participating. I'm going to give you a copy of 100 Million Money Models, which is a book. If you've never, let me ask you, have any of you heard of Alex Hormozi or are familiar with 100 Million Money Models book? Yes, okay, great. Well, so Alex Hormozi recently had a book launch, and I was a part of that book launch, and he was going to break the Guinness Book of World Record for most book sales in 24 hours, nonfiction. He ended up selling 2,917 books in 24 hours, and in 72 hours, he did 105 million. And so I ended up buying 200 copies of the book because, again, what it is that I do and why people hire me is that I have the ability to, one, cipher through lots of information and then pull out those things, understand those things, and then use that to help other people when they really need it. And so I'm excited about this coaching of the system that I put into place, and for the 200 people that will have the opportunity to get a copy of the Money Models book, and then also have the opportunity for me to show them how to apply those things to whatever endeavor they're involved in. And so I want to open it up to any questions that you guys may have, but that concludes the overall fundamentals of the program and the webinar. Any questions? No questions?
Just want to say thank you, Nate.
Absolutely. You're absolutely welcome. And so I won't hold you guys any longer. Once again, I want to thank you guys for participating. I hope that you got tremendous value. If you did, please just drop me a note. Let me know what value you received. And if you have any questions, let me know. And the best way to do is just simply send me a text or even jump on my calendar for a 15-minute, just your questions answered. But I welcome you in advance for those of you that are ready to make a shift to take that step. All right. Y'all have a great evening. Take care and be blessed.